Hi all, I'm Claudius Nocta. I trust you're doing great. Thanks for joining this new 4K test which will cover the massive Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn extension in under 5 minutes. To get test videos in under 5 minutes on all the latest releases, don't hesitate to subscribe, like and share. Let's go! Let's get started. So, Tale of Arise Beyond the Dawn is an expansion that will be available starting from the 9th of November at a retail price of €30. This extension is launched directly through the main menu of the game and not within your current session of the game. The events of the game occur after the events of the base game, and the studio implemented something quite intriguing to motivate players to complete the main adventure. Upon starting the DLC, you are granted supplementary rewards in accordance with your level of achievement attained in the base game. So concretely, in fact, if you have finished the main adventure, if you have also completed all the side quests, if you have also reached the maximum level, well, simply you will have additional combat points to unlock the new skills that are available in this expansion. No concerns, you can initiate the DLC without finishing the adventure, but you will forego these extra statistic points. You can cultivate them in the expansion, but it is just to commence in the optimal conditions. Regarding the scenario, as I was saying, the events occur after those of the base game, which I won't spoil if you haven't played this great game. So, we locate our main characters who are situated 1 year after the conclusion of the initial game, where two groups of individuals must learn to coexist to live together in harmony. I confess that in these very dark times we are living in, I have been very sensitive to the message of the studio, and yes, to see these two peoples who must live together coexist despite historical conflicts, well, the open-mindedness, the acceptance of each other's differences, I must admit that I have been much more sensitive than usual to the message of peace and love that the Japanese from Bandai Namco delivered to us through this magnificent story. I think I also needed it a little considering the current news. The big star of this opus is Nazamil, a new character around whom the whole story revolves. Regrettably, this is not a character we can play with. Regarding news, regrettably the content is quite light. It is truly an extension that primarily focuses on the scenario and story instead of introducing new features in terms of gameplay. We are using the formula that worked very well for the Game of the Year 2021, and unfortunately we haven't really added any new features. It's one of the downsides I noted. As for what's new, it will be more focused on enemies, introducing new bosses we can encounter, optional bosses, a few new small dungeons. However, in terms of maps, we will also find the main big cities we already know inside the base game. Then, you have two types of new features in terms of quests. You have the reconstruction quests. The principle is simple. When you finish them, the merchants have more products to offer you, nothing very original. And the other one is the character quests. These quests, you have 2 per character, and when you complete them, the bonus attack of each character is strengthened. So only reinforced through damage points, unfortunately no new visuals. I was a little disappointed at that level. You have numerous optional secondary quests accessible to advance and increase your level. The majority of them are not necessarily the most interesting, but in any case, you still have quite a few hours of gameplay inside this expansion, where it took me more than 16 hours to complete about 90% of the content. Regrettably, there were 3 quests where I had to farm specific items from monsters that didn't drop them. I need to search a bit for the why and how, but here is some information on the lifespan of this extension. Also, I want to note that the expansion does a great job of reminding us about the events in the base game. If you did it like me in 2021, Tales of Arise, it's true that you could have forgotten quite a few things, but I still think that the beginning of the DLC starts a little too slowly. Even if, like me, I needed these reminders, I think they could have done it a little faster. I also wanted to mention before concluding that there are a few additional pieces of music, including the one for the main menu of the DLC, which is really very well done. Concluding this test video, I'll now share my opinion on the value for money of this extension sold at the price of €30. Unfortunately, despite all the affection I can have for Tales of Arise, the lack of new content, bestiaries, no new playable characters, no really new gameplay mechanics leaves me a little indifferent. At least the story did a really good job. Don't hesitate to like, subscribe to get reviews under 5 minutes on all upcoming titles.